The two friends at the heart of the king loves face their biggest challenge of all as they grow into men of determination and purpose. Won and Rin have learned to trust each other no matter what, and that ability is the key to their success as they confront new threats. But their greatest accomplishment may be that they have learned to respect each other above all things, even when life threatens to pull them in different directions. Episode 40 Recap. Jong-hyun catches Dan as she stumbles in her rush to meet San, and she cries as she pulls San into a hug. Dan admits how relieved she is to see San as Jong-hyun hands her a handkerchief from a generous supply. San teases that she's crying as much as by Yoon, and it reminds Dan of all the times that Rin teased her about her tears. The two women walk together happily as San asks Dan to share her secret for good cooking. Jong barges in on his father and brother to complain that Rin brought San, his former fiancé, into their house. Wang Young simply ignores Jong's rant as Rin asks for his father's forgiveness. Jong is shocked when his father explains that Rin wants his name erased from the family registry. Rin offers Jong a chance to contribute to the kingdom on the condition that he forgets about San and warns, "You should do as I say if you do not wish your wrongdoings to be exposed once again." Wang Young looks at Rin with sorrow as he instructs Jong, "Tell him that you will do that and that you are thankful." Later, Rin kneels before his father as he leaves his home while Teacher Lee's narration tells us that it's the summer of 1297. We then see Teacher Lee meeting with Gu Hyung at the On estate as he learns that San had him prepare it for her teacher's use. One meets up with San and Rin, who wait for him with knapsacks. They are headed to retrieve the king's seal, whose location San claims Song-in shared with her. One is reluctant to travel without his guards, but Rin reminds him that he did it all the time. One then suggests that they take horses when he hears that it's at least a 2-day trip, but San starts off without him in frustration. One catches up to ask, "Why are you both annoyed with me?" As they hike to their destination, one narrates, "I knew they were lying when I looked into their eyes. That is how close we were. I knew they were fooling me, and they knew that I knew." When the trio stops at a creek for water, Rin fills San's water bag while they smile happily at each other. One takes a step back and smiles to himself when he sees that they're lost in their own world. His narration continues, "That summer, we were practicing our farewell. To a friend whom I never separated from, and to you, whom I thought I would never be separated from." It's nighttime when the trio runs through the rain to take shelter in a deserted house. San shares that the storm triggered a memory, and she and One mention Mount Duda at the same time. San admits that she should have figured out One's identity back then. One was busy getting firewood, but the other did not lift a finger. One defends himself by saying, "Rin busies himself for nothing. I am the normal one. He is abnormal." One points to Rin knowingly when he emerges from the house and announces that he will get some firewood. San has Rin sit down and asks if the rain reminds him of anything. As usual, he's clueless, and One and San have to coach him until he remembers Mount Duda. A flashback to One and Rin sleeping on either side of San in the cave on Mount Duda is proof of how much has changed since then. Later, Rin covers a sleeping San with a robe before joining One on the porch. One mentions Rin's letter, which he found touching, but Rin is too embarrassed to talk about it. One offers Rin his hand as he tells him, "I was honored that you considered me your friend." After they shake hands, Rin wonders, was that embarrassing? And one admits, incredibly. Let us never do that again. Pa. When one mentions the king's seal, Rin admits that if San finds it, he plans to keep it. One was afraid this was Rin's plan and tells him not to even think of such a thing. But Rin reminds one that if he or the king are tied to the anti-Yuan movement, Goryeo will be invaded. Rin apologizes. I said I would follow you anywhere, that I would be with you. I cannot keep that promise. Tears well in her eyes as San argues that she's not as strong as Rin believes she is. Rin knows San has the king's seal and holds out his hand as he urges, "Give it to me." A flashback shows that San stole the pouch with the seal from Song-in when he carried her to the rocks by the ocean. San tearfully places that pouch in Rin's hand, and when he calls her Lady San, she remembers how surprised she was when he first used her name, since it had been so long since she heard it. Rin recalls the first time that he saw her. Long before that, when I was 12, I snuck into your house once. It was night time, and you were crying. As you cried, you lit lotus lanterns to comfort the dead. Ever since then, I liked you. Rin then confesses, for a short while, I dreamed of making you mine. They are both crying as Rin tenderly tells San, I will let you go now. Do not look back. San can't contain her sobs any longer as she rests her head on Rin's shoulder. Rin raises his hand to console her, but holds himself back as San continues to cry, and their sad farewell fills the night. Outside, one stands under a tree as he gazes at the sky and thinks, I wish we got to practice life once. A practice run. I would remember the lessons and live a righteous life the second time around. Dressed as one of the king's ministers, John finds the Yuan envoy and gives up Rin's hideout, the headquarters of the anti-Yuan movement. One dispatches his guards as Rin attempts to escape on horseback, but he's soon overtaken. Rin abandons his horse, and a search of his belongings yields the king's seal. Rin is chased to a cliff, where he fights off one's guards until Jong-hyun shoots him in the leg with an arrow and forces him down. When Rin manages to stand and fight again, Jong-hyun sends a second arrow into his shoulder and then turns away, tears filling his eyes. One gazes down at San as a man wearing a hat uses a cane to limp to her side. One faces them as the man removes his hat and we see that it's Rin. Rin stares at his lifelong friend as San joins him, leaving one to watch from under the tree as his friends disappear together into the woods. Later, Minister Song enters the throne room to summon one to a banquet with Yuan envoys as Teacher Lee narrates, in a short period, the new king reformed the government. He worked day and night and spent his free time alone. One silences Minister Song when he mentions that Minister Run's daughter was spotted in Goryeo and sends him ahead to the banquet. Alone, one sidely protests, I thought you had gone far, but you are still in Goryeo. What if I come running after you? With a heavy sigh he concludes, you are too close. Teacher Lee's narration lets us know what happened to Won. 7 months after becoming king, he abdicated in favor of his father, the previous king, and left to Yuan. The throne sits empty as Teacher Lee adds, he did not return to Goryeo for 10 years. A portrait of the trio amid the red flowers appears in place of the empty throne as Teacher Lee's narration sheds light on what one did when he was alone. Much later, someone found a painting by the young king. And in a final flashback, we see the three friends together on that immortalized day among the red flowers. One smiles at his friends as he reflects, this is the story of me, who loved you more than myself.